All right, so it is our last day in Paris, and of course, this is
The Handbag Husband.
the Handbag Husband. Yay! So as it is our last day here in Paris, and really, look, we've been through Italy, we've been through Paris, the boutiques in both those countries, and I'll tell you, I kind of feel like we've been through the trenches for sure. It's a good time to obviously take a moment and take a little bit of point of inflection and go over some of the random thoughts that we had throughout this trip so far, how our perspective has really changed, and also some kind of topics that we want to talk about, but we didn't really have a video to put them into, so we'll put them all together in this one that we're calling Random Thoughts. Now, of course, if you like these videos, if you like the conversation, if you like the bag candy, and I tell you, we have tons and tons and tons of bag candy, don't forget to like and subscribe because it does really help the channel to grow. And again, we are so thankful for that.
Thank you.
But also because you get notifications when our newest videos come out. All right, now, let's get to some of those random thoughts. So one of the first thoughts I guess I have is really about the Hermès process, the game, if you will, and how it kind of brings out, I'm not gonna say the worst side in humans, but definitely in FSH, you see a whole heap of drama, right? Because people are just like, they're just trying everything they can possibly do, mustering up all their humanity to like try to schmooze the podium people, or even just like weird, crazy stories. But there's definitely a lot of drama, and I wonder if that's part of the Hermès allure, right? It's part of, or how that fits in with the whole process.
It's not allure. What do you mean by it's allure?
Like how it fits in with the whole process, right?
No, I think it's just overhyped.
What do you mean?
In the sense of like, your time and emotional shouldn't be attached to just getting a bag or getting a letter appointment, you know? And to me, that's not allure, that's basically toxic.
I mean, I get it definitely, like I said, it brings out those toxic sides of humans, right?
I'm talking about it's toxic in the sense of like, oh, you put so much emotion to it.
Yeah. I mean, I think in some ways, though, Hermès is sort of responsible for it because of the fact that they put us in situations where the odds, especially in FSH, are quite high, right? People put a lot of time and effort into getting here and a lot of hope to be able to get a bag. And really the only way through is the lottery. But of course, humans being humans are going to be like, oh, can I tell them this? Or can I do this? Or can I come this way? And I think that's okay, right? But it's just the way that people will do it starts to get real nasty, especially if you sit around for a while. They're like, I'll wait right here for the next 6 hours, then camp out. And you know, I know somebody I know the Pope or whatever it is, right? They say those things, and of course, the maitre d' or whatever at the leather department is gonna be like, okay, thanks. But I mean, I just know that from us sitting there briefly for 35 minutes, 45 minutes, kind of waiting around and looking at stuff, we just hear the craziest stories about people who are like, I was told that if I come back at this time, it's gonna be absolutely guaranteed. And he's like, no, madame, it was not, you know, I'm very sorry, nothing has changed. Yes, and nothing has changed. But Lumiere. But you hear a lot of that. And I think it's really interesting to see how that interplays, how it relates to the Hermès process and the fortress Hermès that they've set up to really keep most people out, right? And the most...
Or keep people wanted.
Or keep people wanted it. And I think the other side to it that obviously is that they're trying to limit, like with the quota bag system, they're trying to limit people from reselling or benefiting, but ultimately they do benefit. And then the environment inside of Hermès, if you're not having a leather appointment, it gets kind of icky. I will tell you for sure, it does feel a little icky.
Like in what sense?
Like it just feels like bad juju, right?
Oh,
people are like super butthurt about stuff. I don't know.
I would be butthurt.
Yeah, including us, right? But
I think I'm just more of like I'm prepping my mental before the trip. Is like, okay, if you don't get it, you don't get it.
Yeah.
Like just don't put your hopes and emotion to it. Just focus on something else.
I mean, I think it's one thing to be butthurt and then just like be like, okay, that's it, right?
Sure.
That's nothing else you can do.
Sure.
It's another thing to see people like stomping around the foyer in FSH, being like, how come I can't get that, right? Like,
yeah.
And there's that every day. I bet you every day he's got 10 people.
Do you sympathize with them or just like?
I totally sympathize.
Like, lady,
with them.
please stop.
I empathize with them in the sense that I know what it feels like to get rejected.
Sure.
And I think that maybe for a lot of the people at Hermes who are there doing that, maybe they're not used to getting rejected on a day-to-day basis, right? Maybe they're used to getting what they want all the time.
Oh, I know that feeling.
Yeah, but unless you are,
Somebody.
somebody, a real somebody, you're not going to have that kind of sway with Hermes. I think the other side of it too is Americans, right? This
Yes.
whole like the customer is always right kind of feel, and they don't subscribe to that here in the same way. So yes, of
But
course.
please subscribe to our channel.
Yes, you can subscribe to our channel now. Yeah, but the thing is that they don't view it that way, and I think they view, obviously they're trying to do the best they can to help people get what they want, and with the limited resources, the limited bags and things that
Sure.
they have,
Within
But
the rule and realm
within the
of-
rules
that
and
they can do,
regulations,
yeah.
and also for the overall good of Hermes protecting their brand.
Sure.
But I think a lot of Americans are like, I am the customer, and I am always right, right? And that does not get you far here,
Sure.
for sure. So I don't know. That is a very good one about the toxicity, or like the cloud that can
I mean,
be in there.
I feel like the drama, obviously, I feel like it happens at every stores.
Yeah.
At every Hermes store, but this one is just more
Oh, in
intense.
the Hermes store, yeah. I was like,
Yes,
I haven't been to
it's-
other
no,
like
no.
luxury brand stores and seen adults throwing
No, I'm
tantrums.
just saying, like,
You don't see
yeah,
that
but
every now and
this
then.
is just more
Yeah.
intensified.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so the next thought, I guess, that we had, it was one about actually seeing stuff in person. And, maybe they say you should never meet your heroes kind of thing. It's kind of the same thing with the Mini Kelly. Because I think we both found the Mini Kelly, when we saw it in person, to be, I mean, it's nice, but underwhelming.
I think it's when I saw it was the lady that we were in line, or someone like had it wearing it. And in the span of everything in the display, the
I hadn't
bigger
thought about that,
bag,
yeah.
and then you compare it to whatever in stores. When I see the Mini Kelly, I think it was like black and a gold hardware. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, it's nice, but that's pretty much that. It doesn't wow me. It
Yeah.
doesn't- So I don't know the trend of small bags and the Mini Kelly or the
Yeah.
Pochette. Again, it's the what's it called? Like preference bags or it's subjective, right?
I think it's more than that, though. I think that, especially here in Paris, you get aesthetically spoiled, especially when it comes to Hermes.
True,
because you
true.
see so many people walking around with big bags, with
Small bags.
mainly tourists with the
or
smaller ones.
like more characters back and
Yeah,
there's
and they're worn in well, and they're worn well,
Yeah,
right? They're
yeah,
worn well.
sure.
And so when you see a Kelly Mini being worn,
it's so plain.
even in comparison to some of the Birkins that we've seen, some of the bright red Kellys and things like that we saw, dude, the minis are just blown away. I
Right.
get it. I get why you would have it. They're nice, especially if you have a style and a style that goes with
No, my
that.
point is I'm that style.
Yeah.
I like super plain things.
Yeah.
But when I saw it, I was like, oh, you know what? Why is on such a high demand? And I don't quite get it.
Yeah.
That's why I said, oh,
Yeah,
it's
I get it. I don't.
It's underwhelming.
Yeah, it was definitely underwhelming when we see it in the
we'll make
store.
we'll make it a flash.
Yeah, so we can get some hate mail, but
yeah, but
and put it down in the comments, please. But and like and subscribe. But I think that when you see them in the wild, in situ, with people with their other bags, it's not there. So the other random thought, I guess we were thinking about, and we kind of experienced the difference between FSH at Faubourg and Sevres, is that getting men's leather bags is relatively easy in comparison.
obviously I'm not
to
talking about a Kelly 40 or Birkin 50.
Yes.
That's still gonna
the
be difficult.
unisex bags that are
Yeah.
the
you try to,
core one. Yeah, you're like, oh, come on, it's a men's bag, right?
Yeah.
I'm a guy.
Yeah.
That doesn't work, by the way. So they don't view it that way. But if you're looking for a real Sacre Depeche 41, a Kelly Depeche, maybe not even the Kelly Depeche, but Sacre Depeche 41, if you're looking for all the different size ranges of those ones, they're pretty easy to find. FSH, they do say that you need to have a leather appointment to even see men's bags, but at Sevres, they said, hey, if you're a guy and you want to look at leather goods for men, right this way. So,
Yeah.
they don't have a ton of options, and we did actually get offered a couple of different things that were very nice. A Sacre Depeche, maybe 28, 30, but it is the Kelly.
Your size is always wrong.
We saw a Kelly Depeche that got offered, and I was so tempted to get it because it was actually black on black. So the hardware was black as well, very rare, but it's the same size as the Kelly Depeche that I have now, and it would have all the same problems. And we didn't have lots of room, so didn't get it. Maybe we should have got it. I guess there's a whole nother video, but Yeah, I think that men's bags in general are pretty easy to get, and you know, I think the women are much more competitive about those bags. But just as a side note, you can't scooch in and be like, oh, the large Kellys are actually men's bags, and that makes it easier. So no, they're not gonna do that. All right, so next up is one that we kind of also really noticed while we were here, is that because we have gotten very lucky and gotten Quota bags at FSH prior to this trip, but I think a lot of that has changed. It really feels different. The leather, how leather is done, right? How you get the appointment, how you interact with them. We've been calling it Fortress Hermès because they really have sealed up all the kind of circuitous ways that someone could get in to get a leather bag. You really have to go either through that lottery system, or if you have an essay or previous history, reach out to them and get them to hook you up, because it's not the same where you can like buy a bunch of jewelry and then they'll be like, oh, let me introduce you to our leather appointment people and like that.
I mean, I bet people still.
Sure, I mean,
of
course, there's exceptions to everyone, especially when you get into high dollars amounts.
Sure.
But for mere mortals, I mean, they're really
peasant.
the peasants. They're really kind of merging everyone into that lottery system, and ultimately, I do think that is more fair. It's more frustrating for sure because I never win the lottery. But it also seems to be more fair. I don't know. What's your perspective on that one?
Unfair, not fair?
Or just like the lottery system, the leather system getting more difficult.
Sad. It's almost like discouraging me to like, do I even want to like put a lottery, you know, for one? That's at least to me, yeah.
But also, I think it's also kind of spurring people to do crazy things, like register for the lottery and then figuring out then get a plane ticket the next day to fly to Paris if they win. That was planning it out.
That was me. I was like, maybe we should do it every Saturday, and then if we get it, and then we could fly and try to make it on a Monday appointment. That was me. If you guys think it's a good idea, give me a thumbs up.
That's gonna be Handbag Husband episode 175. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. It definitely is getting harder. I don't want to discourage anyone from coming and trying, because you should come and try. You should also come and try, and if you don't,
I'm talking about even though I'm already in Paris, I don't even know that I want to like put. Like, oh,
that's crazy talk. That's crazy talk.
Kind of put my hopes up. Of like, you know, like, oh,
or keeps you on
maybe.
guard, like the anxiousness of it as well.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't want to discourage anyone from trying. You should definitely try, but it is getting more difficult than we had previously experienced.
Sure.
So last thing I think is important, and if you made it this far,
thank you.
Good, thank you.
Right?
Good job, right? But the last thing is that Paris is so much more than Hermes. Yes, Hermes is an integral part of it, especially if you are a fan of Hermes, if you enjoy Hermes, if you partake in Hermes. Of course, Paris is always going to have that aspect of it, but there is so much more. I mean, there's so much more to Paris. There's beautiful art, there's beautiful food, there's friendly people. I know people say they're not friendly. People are really friendly here.
Correct.
So far,
we never met anyone.
We've only heard French people yelling at other French people, like in the street, like from the cars and stuff.
No, I'm talking about to us.
To us, they've always been
Even
nice.
though, like, we are 100% tourists. Or maybe 150% tourists.
Yeah, the most annoying type of tourists, making YouTube videos out in public. So I get that, but there's just so much more to Paris than just Hermes, and you really shouldn't let Hermes monopolize your thought or your trip, or even like the enjoyment of your trip. Like if you don't get the Hermes that you wanted, or you don't get offered the bag that you want, you shouldn't let it ruin your trip, because again, you're in Paris. There's so many other amazing things to do. It's a beautiful city, and there's enough champagne to really drown any frustration out.
Maybe before, what is the advice from the husband to another husband of if his wife cannot get MS in Paris?
Yeah, so this is just for the husbands, okay? So just, I don't know if you're not husbands, if you're not Handbag Husband, or it doesn't have to be husband, it could be the support person, right? There's always gonna be one person who is the primary, the main actor, and then there's the supporting actor, like the Handbag Husband. But the thing is that you need to have a backup plan, an escape plan,
Not
if
a
you
bag
will.
up.
A bag up plan.
No.
You're just smart and beautiful. So you definitely need to have a backup plan. And by that I mean you need to have something planned out to divert the attention from sulking around, because it'd be so easy to sulk and be like, oh, to get the bags at me, whatever. And
do not do like, oh, here's your baguette. Like,
here's your baguette.
No, doesn't work.
How many of those puns you got?
I don't know.
But I think you need to have a backup plan in the sense that find something else to do to keep yourself occupied, other goals while you're here. Go see some beautiful art, go drink some great champagne, go eat some delicious macarons, have other things to do just in case it doesn't work out. Because likelihood is it's not, and usually the primary partner who's most interested in it, they're gonna feel a little down, right? So you just gotta have a backup plan and have it ready to go, and even have reservations afterwards. Be like, hey, you know what? We got reservations at our favorite restaurant here in Paris, so we're gonna go there and we're gonna go eat, drink, and be merry, and forget about this whole thing until tomorrow when we try again. All right, so that is it for our random thoughts, the long kind of free-flowing style video that we do sometimes, and we just have a moment to reflect on kind of how the Hermès quest is going. And I'd love to hear any of your feedback on that, or any questions or comments about those things, or your experiences as well. If you've been here or anywhere and you have those similar experiences, I'd love to see if that's something that you all have as well, or you've noticed. Now, of course, if you do like these videos, if you like the conversation, if you like the bag candy, and we have lots of bag candy footage, don't forget to like and subscribe, because it really does help the channel to grow, and we are so thankful for that.
Thank you.
But also because you get notifications when our newest videos come out. So for our last day in Paris, the last video in Paris, was what? Handbag Husband, yay! This is it out. I don't know if they're gonna hear it, but let's just try it one more time. All right, now, let's get to some of those random thoughts.
They're random.
Very random. Hey, you know what? These men's bags are.
Is the pigeon's getting closer?
You can catch it?
No.
Just leave it alone.